A lot of Amazon sellers that I talk to, um, they've done it on their own. They want to save a few $100. And I always tell them that it's always best. There's the right time and a wrong time to spend money. This is one of those times that you want to make sure you spend money. And it's really not a lot of money to spend if you're going to grow out this brand. But those specific things that you were talking about, making sure that it's done properly at the end, I mean, if you don't fill out the application right, and if you don't have that skill set, it could cause you a lot of problems. So, just going to an attorney that specializes like you, I think it's so important. And most Amazon sellers, a lot of Amazon sellers think that, oh, I'll just go and file this on my own. I'll go to LegalZoom and boom, send in the patent, and they have no idea, or the trademark, and they have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with trademarks, and I think maybe what has people kind of want to do it on their own is that they see, okay, the application, I mean, it's not the simplest in the world, but if you've done it a few times and you're familiar with it, it looks pretty simple. I mean, literally takes about 15 minutes to do a trademark application. But the thing with trademark law is that it's highly nuanced, where, it could look like you should do it a certain way. But if you have experience with other applications in similar situations that have been rejected, then you know that you should steer the ship just a few degrees to the right.
Right.
And that could make all the difference. So, trademarks is something that really seems simple on the surface. But a lot of times, what you gain by working with someone who has the experience of having done lots of trademark applications, it can make the difference between whether it's successful or not. Just a little nuanced change. And also, um, a lot of times, those nuances will tell you whether you are going to be able to get it through or whether you're going to have a problem. And if you're launching a product, I think it always pays to know that you're going to have a problem now, rather than 6-8 months from now, when the trademark gets rejected and you realize, I'm going to have to rebrand. I'm going to have to relabel, repackage all my products and change everything around because I can't use this brand name. So, considering what you're investing in your product, I agree with you, Norm. It makes sense to do it the right way. And I mean, when I do a trademark, we charge $1,000 plus the government fee. There are,
And that's pennies.
yeah,
That's really an insurance policy, to make sure that you're covered.
yeah, yeah. And I'll just tell you that there are attorneys that charge more. There
Mhm.
are there, you go to LegalZoom, I think they charge you a few $100. Is it worth saving the money to, I mean, I like to think of it as, like I said, it's steering a little bit one way or another. It's like when you're at port and you're about to leave port, 1 or 2 degrees steering the ship doesn't seem like much of a difference. But once you get 100 miles out to sea, it could be a big difference. So I like the opportunity to really steer the ship in the beginning. Sometimes it doesn't take too much effort to make a big difference later on.
And if you once you get your trademark, it's up to you to police it, right? Nobody's going to protect it. You've got to actually go out there, and if you see somebody using your trademark or using something similar, what do you do?
Yeah, well, you're absolutely right that you have to police it. There is no trademark police. I mean, if it was actually counterfeit goods, like on the level of like a Gucci bag being copied, then the FBI can get involved. But just like pirated videos. But in general, as a practical matter, you've got to be the one to police your mark. And it's important to police your mark, because if you don't, you run the risk of losing it. So there are countless cases of people who had a mark, and then a competitor opened up with a very similar name, and the company did nothing about it. And then another competitor opened up, and another one did. And so basically, what happened is you allowed your trademark to get diluted, where people aren't thinking of the trademark as coming from you. They're not thinking of that name as you. They think like, oh yeah, there's another Ray's Pizza over there. And so you lose the right to enforce it because you can't show that this one person is confusing the public if there are 3 others also with a similar name. It's very important to maintain that distinctiveness for your trademark. And you do that by policing it, by making sure that if someone is legitimately infringing, you have